Hi everyone, it's Mr.T back again, and thanks for tuning in. One of the biggest changes Sosua has experienced in many years recently took place here, with multiple club and restaurant owners forced out of business, which then trigger questions like, was it really done ethically and legally, respecting human rights, civil rights and property rights? And how does the locals of the town feel about it now that a bit of time has passed by? Well, all of that we're going to dig deep into just shortly. With me here I have David and Alex. Alex was seen in one of my last videos. Thanks for being on camera. So the new Sosua, the way it's unfolded, you came down, you invested, and then everything changed.
Changing right in front of my eyes.
What do you think of it now?
It's a little slower. It seems the native people are being pushed aside. And I left my home in Virginia. I live in America. I left my home in Virginia to come here because I like this place. And it's changing. And I don't think for the better, right in front of my eyes, and that troubles me. That troubles me a lot.
And what do you got to say about that, Alex?
Well, like I said before, back on the other video that I said, you know, it's kind of hectic over here when it comes to the people that live in Sosua too, because people live out of tourism, people got kids, people live out of the beach, and they're trying to close everything. What I'm trying to say is, as a Dominican citizen, I can tell you, she needs to get out of the chair, let somebody else run it the way it is. This is an adult entertainment, not a kid entertainment.
Exactly.
You want to do a port?
Exactly.
You want to do a port? You do it back in Puerto Plata, where they got museum, historic monuments, Malecon. You're trying to make a zoo over there, so make sure all the kids go down there. This is adult entertainment, only for adults. This is where it happens, and this is where the American people and the Europe people, they come and have fun. So don't take that away, and don't take our money away, because we pay for Pampers and milk. Y aquí un gobierno nos da full stamp aquí, ni cupones, ni nada de eso. So take care of that, man.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I'm more worried.
To come in.
I'm just worried about the native people. You know, if they don't have legitimate jobs and they have children to feed or rent to pay, it's going to be a real problem for somebody along the line to just survive. I mean, survival is basic. I mean, that's a primary thing, survival. And if you take all the money and give to the richest few, you end up like America.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing. That's not a good
Well,
thing.
it seems to be a nationwide campaign where they're clamping down on any places that has prostitution in it. They've been hitting places in Santo Domingo, Santiago, even out here in Puerto Plata, and then Cangrejo. They closed a place where, you know, there was a lot of frisky girls and guys would come and dance and hang out with the girls. And nobody was hurting or annoying anybody, but they're clamping down on all these places. So it's going much bigger than just the mayor of Sosua, isn't it?
Yeah, the last time I checked the law, prostitution was legal. In the Dominican Republic, and I'm talking about the whole country.
So
the whole island. So I don't know, I'm kind of confused right here when I see police trying to arrest the girls doing their job. That's the industry. That's why they get money. That's why they feed their kids. That's why they buy Pampers. You cannot take that away from them.
That's why tourists come.
You don't put a law that say prostitution is illegal. You gotta let the girls be, whoever you are.
They need to create, if they're gonna do that, create legitimate jobs.
Yes.
If you're gonna sit back and run them away from what they can do, what's only available to them, you have to give them an alternative. There's no alternative.
Well, I've said before in my videos that if the fish stinks, it stinks at the head. If the government hasn't created industry which creates jobs, and the only thing that people can resort to is what they have been doing, by coming in and then dealing these hammer blows to society, that's not helping anybody at all. Anyway, thanks for your comments, gentlemen, and let's see how it all unfolds. But everybody, stand up for your human rights, civil rights, and property rights.
Every time.
Thank you, guys.
All day, all day.
Yes, sir. Thank you for what you're doing.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Everyone, I'm with Shelly again from Coco Hotel and Bar in Playa Chiquita, Sosua. Thanks again for jumping on camera.
Love to do it.
Now, Shelly, thank you. What's your take on how Sosua was and how it's turning out?
Well, there certainly have been some major changes going on. Sosua, we've been here now 12 years. Great place. I've always enjoyed Sosua. And recently now, well, it's been over the years, there's been changes going on, and there's been a real movement by the mayor to move the downtown entertainment away from the downtown area. And this has posed a problem because now our downtown area looks deserted. We have large discos down there which are now closed. So if you're going downtown and you're going to grab a meal where most of our restaurants are located, and you want to, after your meal, go out and take in a disco or take in some drinks and that, you now have to get some form of transportation and go to another part of town to get this. So it's made a change that I would say all of my guests are saying is a problem. They don't like it. People, no, I've not heard anyone say that they like the difference. And I, as a hotel person, also find that this change is not helping me either.
No. I mean, in every beach town location on the planet I've been to, from Surfers Paradise to Ibiza, I mean, you can go to Cartagena, you can stroll right from the restaurant. Let's say you're a lady and you have a long dress on. You can stroll right from that restaurant to the nearest nightclub and continue having a good time. And maybe many of these couples especially haven't been dancing for a while or sort of let their hair down, and they just want to roll from one spot to the next.
Correct.
And the whole idea of getting on a motor concho and driving in dark areas down to another side of town is not in everybody's liking, obviously.
Well, usually when you go out, you go to the downtown area. You do that everywhere, right? If I'm in New York, I go to the downtown area. You go to the downtown area, and there you will eat out, you'll get your drinks, you'll go out to a theater. We don't have theater, but you'll go out to a club or a disco or whatever, and that's the issue now. That can't be done. And therefore, so people go downtown, and what they see is a downtown area that's deserted. Most of the all of the major discos have been closed down, and the bars and that. So there's virtually nothing to do there but eat. So it's really not an appropriate downtown area.
Well, one thing for sure, even if the municipality and the government's goal was to get another type of tourist in, I mean, whether you're staying in a resort, a smaller hotel, or you're a couple, even families, they want babysitters in the resorts to look after their kids because maybe they haven't gone out for a long time. And then guess where they want to go? To a disco.
That's right.
Now, how far do they want to travel away from their hotel and the resort? Not very far. So what we had was perfect. And to split it and desert the middle of town makes absolutely no sense to me. But anyway, good to hear your angle on it. Any final comments you want to?
I don't know. Like I said, it's unfortunate because you know what? People that come to Sosua, and we have a lot of repeat guests, will talk about how much they love this town, and they keep coming back here. We have guests that have come back for 20 and 30 years coming to this town. And yes, they've noticed changes, but what's going on right now, they're not happy about. And they found that it's too big a change. They don't like the look of it anymore. And that's unfortunate because these people like this town. There's a lot of people that like this town. It's a great town to have fun in, no matter who you are. And to now all of a sudden see this downtown totally destroyed, it's had an impact.
To kill off millions of dollars coming in
That's
to get something else, it must be a pretty big amount that they're chasing to let go of everything that used to come in.
Exactly. And the concern is we keep hearing about the big hoteliers that are coming in and some of the things that they're doing. And the concern is, have they bought out our government officials to now create a town of big hotels? Believe me, I've been to Punta Cana. I'm not impressed. I don't like all the big hotels. Obviously, I'm a small hotel. And the thing is, the big hotels have discos and bars in them, right? And we don't have that in our downtown now. So we're not providing that need as well here. So it's just something's gone wrong. Let's put it that
one
way.
final thing, because before we started this clip, you mentioned something about the failure of these children parks, etc.
Yeah, that was the other thing is that I have two young granddaughters here, and so I know a lot of the the children's things in the area and that. And one of the things I'll say is that people that come to Sosua do not come here for the family grounds. Puerto Plata is a different story, and other communities. Santo Domingo is a different story. But here in Sosua, we've had water parks, we've had water slides, go-karts, all of these things. and they don't survive. They've been closed down or they hardly have any guests in them. The family-orientated vacation land has never survived in this town. It's a different type of town.
So maybe these big investors, like so many other investors, have not checked it out properly. They don't understand things properly, and they're just destroying it for tens of thousands of tourists, if not millions, to live out some kind of pipe dream they have. Because we've seen hotels down here try to switch to family friendly only, and suddenly they can't hire any rooms out, and then they were forced to switch back to just accepting any kind of tourist that wanted to book in. Otherwise, they had to shut their hotel.
Exactly. The family-orientated does not exist. The other thing is that if you look at the big hotels that are talking about coming in, what happens? We have a couple of all-inclusives here. You never see the people in the town. The town will die. The all-inclusives keep their people in. They're all-inclusive. They provide everything for them. The people don't go out because they're frightened. They're told it's dangerous. So the town will suffer as a result.
And it is already. Thank you, Shelly. Always wise words from you.
Oh, thank you.
All the
Bye
best.
now.
And come and try out Coco Bar and Hotel.
Yes, love to have you.
See ya. Everyone, I'm with Manfred from Schlemmerstube, seen just behind me here. He's one of those that's just managed to stay open through the closures of clubs and restaurants here in Sosua. Thanks for being on camera.
Yes, welcome.
Now, Manfred, how has it affected your business, having all the shutdowns around you?
The thing is very easy. In the last 5-6 weeks, we lost many of the profit. I think it's 35% less than before.
Yeah. So, would you like to see it all open back up again?
Yeah, I like it, but I don't believe on that, because I think that this decision from the mayor and
Government.
the government is it's done. It's over. I think.
Now, you mentioned something before this clip that you'll be able to, for Christmas, put chairs out.
Yeah, there was a reunion at the mayor day before yesterday, and she said on each Saturdays until Christmas, all restaurants should put chairs and tables outside and to offer the special dishes what they have at the menu. And from the next Saturday on, she will organize the music.
All right, what's that? Mary Had a Little Lamb, or some kind of rock concert?
I don't know what kind of music. Maybe it's a Christian music, I don't know.
Right. Did you get any gist from that meeting as to what she wants to occupy the middle of Sosua?
I only know that she doesn't want bars and discotheques. No problems with shops, with colmados, with restaurants. But the problem is more restaurants, less people. That makes no sense.
Thank you very much for your words, and I hope you get your profits back up.
We hope it's so.
Thank you, Manfred. Okay, cheers. Everyone, I've got Mark with me. You've seen him in several videos. Always has nice, hard-hitting messages to the point. So I thought this would be an ideal opportunity. I mean, prostitution is such a taboo subject in general, but I think it's worth talking about it because whether people like hearing it or not, Sosua has kind of been a place where a lot of prostitutes have gravitated to over the years, and probably over 50 years. And the towns and the suburbs, everything was built on the money coming in from a lot of single people. 25 years ago, it was more ladies coming in to meet a Sankey Panky, and then it switched around the other way, where it's more the guys coming in to meet the girls. And now everything's being changed from up the food chain. The governments are clamping down on everything like it's a dirty thing, but it's actually legal in the country. So Mark, what's your opinion about what they're doing and what's the true motive in reality behind it? Is it just money?
I personally think there's more to it than money, because you think about the things that are allowed in the West right now with the gay agenda and the marriages between gays and men and women, but prostitutes are always looked down upon as the lowest of the low, wherever you go in the world, it seems. And they're just girls that are working for a living. And here in the Dominican it seems to be part of the culture. The problem is here is there's a lot of money to be made from the hotels, which are family-oriented. And family-oriented hotels and business, like in Las Vegas, prostitution and family, they don't go hand in hand. One of the problem in Sosua is the prostitutes. It works here. Getting rid of them, there's a they don't know if it's going to work here with the big hotels. It works in Punta Cana. It works in Puerto Plata. It works in Cabarete. But it already works in here in Sosua with the prostitutes and the budget hotels and the little boutiques. But these big companies, I think, are coming in, and they don't want the prostitution here. And the mayors and the civic leaders here agree with the big business because there's money involved. We all know there's money passed. We know this. When a big hotel comes into a place like this, it's not just cut and dried like it would be in Canada. There is corruption, we know that. People are getting paid, and it's certainly not the working girls, and it's not the guys that have been coming here for years. It's the people that are agreeing to this change. I think the change is mandated by the big hotels and companies that want to come in and make money. And you go anywhere in the world where tourism comes in, mass tourism, say goodbye to that place because it turns to shit. Anywhere I've been where mass tourism comes in, the integrity of the place, the charm, it all disappears. So for me, Sosua is finished unless they get rid of the politicians here. They get rid of them and get a guy with sense, a guy, not a woman, a guy with common sense who can run this place properly. It could flourish. The way they're going now, Sosua is done. There's a reason guys come here. The liberal lifestyle, the parties and stuff, and that's all gone. Sosua to me is finished.
Mm-hmm. Now, people make such a big deal out of, like, we need to clean up Sosua, like prostitution's the dirtiest thing in the world. I've always said, don't tell other people their doorstep is filthy if your own doorstep is filthy. The filthiest thing I've seen around here is law abuse from A to C. And before even this mayor came in and they started chasing, she made the police chase the girls down the street. So before they started chasing the girls down the streets, there was a higher caliber, if I may say those words, of girl coming here more elegantly dressed in high heel shoes. And you couldn't tell if she was walking with a guy whether that was his wife or whether it was a prostitute. And really, it's nobody's frickin' business. You know, our freedom as human beings stop where other people's noses begin. So just the fact that they start chasing groups of people, I mean, what country do you see that in? Normally, if you're in a Western country anyway, if you see the police chasing somebody, there's probably a very good reason for it. But just to chase groups of people down the street, arrest them, and then sexually and in other financial ways extort them in jail before they'll release them. I mean, that's an agenda to really screw the people, isn't it?
Well, there's hypocrisy involved, because I get the point of prostitution and the morality of it, and you know, you look at it from the biblical sense that it's evil or whatever you want to call it. But I don't think the average person sees it that way. And there's many more evil things in the world. Plus, it works here. It's worked for 40, 50 years.
If I may just interject, I've never walked down the street into a bar and seen anything over promiscuous going on.
No.
Nobody's making out on tables.
It seems self-regulating here.
Yeah.
Why would a family go to an ex-tour town? I just don't see it happening. I think they've made a big mistake, but people in positions of power, when they make mistakes, they very rarely correct them because they have power. They don't see their mistake. But to me, this is a mistake because naturally, this town has progressed naturally to where it is, and now they're doing something unnatural. Where are these girls going to go? They're still going to be working somewhere. There's going to be problems with crime, probably murders. It was all centralized. You knew exactly where they were. The police knew exactly where all the girls were. They knew who the Johns were. They knew who the pimps were. They knew where the... Now, who the fuck knows where anybody is?
Well,
they made a mistake.
I've said before, if you take a water balloon, you push it on a table, it doesn't disappear.
No.
And
sometimes you can break it and spill the water, too.
Yeah. And that would be a revolt. But here it just pops up near the hand. I mean, every time they've gone into clubs and pulled girls out, and try to get rid of them, they just pop up in all the side streets for 2 or 3 days until it calmed down again, and then they're back in action.
You mentioned the business, and anyone can imagine this. You've got, say, 5 working girls. Those girls use the motos. They buy chicken. They rent apartments. They take the bus back to Santo Domingo. They go back to Haiti. There's a massive amount of money around these girls and the men that utilize their services. When they go, that all disappears. The motos have to go. The restaurants will close. Sosua will be a ghost town with some families here. They don't seem to care about that, but you think that they would look at this as almost a special place because it's so unique in the Caribbean. It's so safe. The climate, the fruit, the access to Puerto Plata Airport. Just leave it alone. When something works, leave it alone. But you've got the money and the jealousy and the morality. So it's easy. Just like it was easy to change Vegas because we got to get rid of the mob so you can build these huge hotels. They never got rid of the mob, and they're not going to get rid of the girls here. But again, I think they're making a mistake. A
Mark,
committee mistake.
Thank you very much for your comments. Always good words.
Thank you, Mr. T.
Cheers. Just to do a little bit of speculating, so they're boring everything down. Could it just be cold, hard business that they're looking for? They want to be in control of the shops and the tour groups, just like we see in Puerto Plata. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, you get these groups that are led straight to the shops they want them to shop in, and the authorities are getting their cut out of everything, where if a lot of mixed travelers, independent travelers come, they kind of go where they want to go, how it should be, because they are free to do what they want, how they want. But the authorities don't like that because they don't make, to them, enough money out of that. Isn't it just, in your opinion, just all about money?
That could be a possibility, you know, and then on the other side, you know, they say that they want to make it more of like a family town, kind of like a Cabarete. But if you go to Cabarete during the day, the beach, the restaurants, it's
Dead.
It's a ghost town. It's one of the most beautiful places you'll ever go. But unless you kite surf or you're into extreme water sports or something like that, there's nobody at the restaurants.
Right.
You know, they're actually selling one called Cajunes, which is one of the biggest ones there because there's just no people, you know? So
Crazy.
I really don't know what the economics are behind what they're doing here, because like I said, if they turn it into a Cabarete, it's desolate.
Everyone, I'm with Ray from Kings, and I want to just offer you a big congratulations on reopening down here, closer to the beach.
Thanks, man. Yeah, one down by the beach, on top of the, just as you go in the entrance of the beach.
Yeah.
We opened up a couple of days ago, and come down and get your food. We're gonna have a football game, we're gonna have boxing fights, whatever you guys look, UFC, whatever you're looking for, come sit over, relax, and have the best food in Sosua.
Excellent. Again, congratulations and have a super day.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Now, we should all know by now, after we've lived under governments and tax departments, etc., for most of our lives, that when governments stick their noses in the free market economy or into our lives in any form or way, that's when things go from bad to horrible to disastrous. And around Sosua, I've noticed in the last decade, a lot of stupid things that's destroyed the economy, where had they just left it alone, it would have grown and we would all have plenty, including them, but they just ain't that smart. The first one is meddling with the hours. Yes, everybody's happy, having a good time, the money's flowing in, so let's cut the hours back to 12 o'clock because you're just doing too well. You know, that is so stupid. I mean, you've just gotten out there and got your first drink or two on the table, and then all the metal louvers have to be rolled down. Of course, the Sosua people weren't happy with that, and lawyers had to get involved, and big protests on the streets had to take place, only to fight back a few of those hours. But the government rubbed their hands. Yeah, we won an inch or two on that one. I don't know what the hell they get out of it, but stupid it is. The next one is, let's bar up everything so families can't look into the bars or the clubs. So they were given threats to block everything up, like anybody would want to walk their family down the street 9, 10 at night anyway. I mean, hey, the kids should be in bed if they're decent parents. But no, everything had to be barred up. Again, hurting the tourist who just came to have fun, to make somebody somewhere feel better about themselves. How stupid. Now the next thing was, let's put some ramps in the main street where everybody drives through and looks at the action. No, let's just put a ramp at each end. How did that end up? Well, when it was almost working because they had closed the street off for a while and let some tables come out, then they removed it again. Also, some of the Motoconcha guys hit the ramps at full speed and killed themselves. So that didn't work out either. The next stupid thing we saw was, let's shut the parking off in one side of the street. Oh, that didn't please the business owners either, because they were used to people pulling up, jumping into their shops or restaurants, cafes, and then driving off after having spent some money. So again, restricting the economy on that one, and that's still in place, that stupid rule. Now the next thing was attacks on clubs with police and military to drag girls out of there. We saw police and military go in and drag out up to 140 girls. Like the mayor thinks that that's got to get rid of all the girls from Sosua. I mean, just leave people have some fun in life. And people have flown from thousands of kilometers away to come and spend their money. Why mess with it? But no. They had to show their muscle again. And of course, for the next 2 or 3 days, all these girls were going into the side streets, and then they just returned back to the main street again. And then we had the next one, which was, let's attack the girls as they arrive at the taxi stations. I remember actually filming police dragging very sophisticated looking girls out of the taxis, putting handcuffs on them straight away. Yeah, that's got to get rid of everybody. Nothing has worked. It's just all stupidity again. The next one was, that we've seen here for years, the fish tank effect. Let's get the police to chase innocent people who are just doing their job because prostitution is legal, but we will just call a bluff on that one because we have the guns, we have the uniforms, so we're going to chase these girls down the streets, arrest them if we can catch them, put them in jail, and financially and sexually extort them, and then kick them back in the street again. And it was like the kidnap, extort, release program that just kept turning over like that. 8 years tourists had to watch that stupidity go on. How is that for financial self-sabotage? And there was a lot who said, I'm never coming back. You know, I see enough cops back in my own country. I don't want to watch this crap when I come down on a vacation. Okay, the next stupid thing was having police beat up locals around town, and especially the Haitians, right in front of the tourists. So if you're trying to scare tourists off, that's a darn good way to do it. Again, there's been so many incidences that we've seen and reported on over the years. I mean, what do they think? What happened to just let it grow, like Mark said earlier in the video? Now the next thing is shutting down the bars and the clubs illegally. Again, there's a lot of bluff going on because a few weeks down the track, when that bar owner or club owner has gone to their lawyer, it just seems to open again. And then it's like, what was that all about? Obviously, they must have come in under illegal premises because now that business owner finally knows where he stands legally and their business is opening again. Just like Montreal in Sosua, it got shut down with 11 businesses and now they've just opened a few days ago because they found out where they stand legally. So one of the messages to the business owners is, don't be such pushovers. If the cops come in and they don't have the proper documentation as to why you should be shut down, then tell them to take a hike, fight back, have some kahunas, and tell them where to go because they're messing with your income and your business. And would they like that done to themselves? No. But that's what parasites do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching everybody in this video and these little pointers. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, tick like, and recommend this video to others. And please stay tuned because we've got a new service coming up called Info Hub. See you later.